everybody. Welcome to Amy Lieu Presents. I'm so excited for my next guest, who is a talented and successful writer and actress. Her name is Amy Hill. I'm so excited to have her join me today. She is actually in New Orleans shooting for The Preacher. She has about 160 TV and film credits. Please welcome Amy. Hi, how are you?
Hello, everyone.
So I see you're in your hotel room shooting for The Preacher. How's it going?
It's going great. I had to fly in on Sunday, and then Easter Sunday. The actor's life so fabulous. And then we rehearsed yesterday because it's a big scene, and today I'm off.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, my dad has actually lived in New Orleans for years before
My
moving to
God,
California for my mom. I've actually never been there, but I really want to go visit one day.
great. Yeah.
And I know that you've been actually in the business for over 30 years. Can you
Yeah.
share with us that experience and how you got into the industry?
Well, I started out, I just wanted to act. Would perform for the neighbors as a child, and then I grew older and more brave, and I started doing a theater in high school, and I just became crazy for that. So I continued doing theater, and then I moved to Tokyo, and I did radio and television in Tokyo, and then moved back to San Francisco, where I joined the Asian American Theater Company, and that's when I sort of found the political aspect of theater, where it can actually give voice to an experience that hasn't been given a voice. When I moved to Los Angeles, I was given the opportunity to work at East West Players, which also does classical theater. So we're doing shows about our experience, but also classical stuff. Because I had such a strong background in acting and improv, it was not easy because I know that I did not look the part for a lot of white casting directors and white directors, the part of perhaps the typical Asian. So I was never auditioned for prostitutes or, sexy Asian girl or, like when they did Come See the Paradise. I'd done a bunch of camp plays, but the director didn't think I looked Japanese enough.
And
Although when
you're half, right?
I'm Japanese and half Finnish, but I used to live in Japan, and people would ask me why my English was so good. In Japan, they seem to think I look Japanese enough. So, I know that my coloring is not quite right all the time, but my bone structure is definitely my mother's. So, oftentimes I will wear brown contacts if I think that it's too distracting the way I look.
As a half Asian American woman,
Yeah,
but actually, just your background as in general of being half Asian American, but also half Finnish, and
right.
then reconciling your background and also being a woman. What would you say are some of the challenges being in this field?
Well, there's challenges all around. I know I get paid less than every other actor. I was talking to one of the actors on the show, and he's a good friend of mine. He's cool. His rate for as a regular is $10,000 more than mine.
Do you think
And,
it's because
or
of the gender or the
it's
race?
it's gender. And also, he probably started at a higher rate. The first show I did, All American Girl, I was paid barely over scale because I was, it was my first show. And so you start at a lower place, it's hard to go up higher. So, it's just part of the business. Sometimes it could be race based, but I think it's more gender based than anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and that's why it's so important to have equal pay day and stress gender equality, especially when it comes to pay.
Right, I know. But, you do what you can. I mean, oftentimes I think being a woman and being uh, not the blonde, beautiful girl, I'm the character actor. You don't know what your value is, too. So, and your agents may not know what your value is. So sometimes I think I lowballed stuff because I just want to work and I want to do the part and I think it's going to be fun. And so it's really a hard thing negotiating. If I didn't even have an agent, I'd even be paid less. We don't value ourselves enough, and we have to learn to do that more
Wow, that is
across
so
the board.
important. Right. And it's great. I'm sure people listening and watching out there coming from you, Amy,
Yeah.
would feel inspired and empowered
Yes, you
hearing from
gotta.
you.
Mhm.
You're an idol to a lot of us.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, you mentioned Grandma Kim from All American Girl, which was
What?
actually in 1995.
I
So this
know.
was a sitcom, the first Asian American family sitcom. How
Yeah.
was it like being in that? It was pretty much a milestone.
It was a milestone, but it felt like it was kind of chaotic because, uh, you know, people didn't know really how to approach it in terms of creating it. And Margaret was really young and she just wanted this to be the best show ever. And there was so much criticism from the Korean community about
Wow.
her
Oh,
because,
really?
oh my God, there was this small part of the community that felt she didn't look good enough. Like,
Wow.
they didn't want her to be representing their
Oh,
community.
wow.
Oh, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like if we're going to put our face forward into the mainstream, we would like the gorgeous, thin, perfect, sweet, well-spoken, not this, great stand-up who's loud
Outspoken.
and abrasive and, you know, colorful and not the picture, like she didn't have her eyes done. She didn't have, she didn't have the beauty factor that was accepted in the Korean
Oh,
community.
wow.
So there was a small portion of the people that felt she was not the best representation. But it's like I always said, when you're coming out of the desert, you'd think if you gave them a glass of water, they'd be grateful. But no, they have an idea of what they want and they're not going to shift. It's it's like I knew there was going to be criticism, and there was a small group of people that was very critical, and I think that made the network really skittish, and they tried to accommodate. We also didn't have any. We had one, maybe two. We had two Asian writers on the show, and I don't think they had a lot of experience. They were women, Asian women writers, so they were also, I'm sure, not as aggressive in that writing room as they could have been because they had not a lot of experience writing for sitcoms. And I'm sure they were reminded of that every day. I don't know for sure. But, when you're with men that have been around the block, I think it's easy to discount them. So they
Wow.
might have been just for show.
Wow.
So, and they were both Chinese American, not Korean American. Now there are more writers, tons of writers, like on Fresh Off the Boat, Asian writers, Chinese American writers, but also writers that have immigrant experience. So, the show's not just about the Asian immigrant experience, but it's about the immigrant experience. And I think, if we had been specific on our show, but also if we had taken it to a different level, we might have been more successful. But we were pretty successful. We were still on that uh, bubble where another show that was getting the same numbers as ours, the Drew Carey show, was picked up and then went on for like 10 seasons or something. If we'd been picked up for another season, I think we could have rectified a lot of the issues.
Oh, yeah. There was I think there was I read 19 episodes actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you think that 20 years later, after All American Girl, the media landscape has actually changed in relation to Asian Americans in the media?
Well, on ABC alone, the pilot we did was for ABC. And so it's a remarkable show, that pilot, because it's so diverse. But, there's Fresh Off the Boat, Dr. Ken, um, Quantico. There's a lot of shows now on television where they're not just, a small character in the background. They're leads, and there are, on the casting list, maybe 2, 3, 4. It's amazing. We have a lot of visible talent that is being recognized. Now we just got to get some awards.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Some Emmy work. I think
Yeah. I hope they're watching.
watching too. I joined the Television Academy last year just because I wanted to be able to vote for more Asian Americans. Because there's a wonderful work being done by Asian Americans on television.
Speaking of shows, actually,
Yeah.
I love another show you're on as well, The Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and you play the mom of Josh
Josh.
Chan,
Yes.
Lourdes Chan. I actually watched one of the music bits that you were in with your grill. So tell us about the experience of you being on that show. I actually love that show. So funny.
I love that because, I was basically offered the part, and I said, great. I hadn't seen the script. But to play a Filipina mom was like a dream come true. I think, immigrants with accents are real people. That
Yeah.
it's just a layer that they have.
It
So
normalizes them. Is that basically?
Yeah, so I'm not making fun. I'm not making a character of the accent. I'm making a character that has an accent. So when they called, I thought they were going to say, oh, we'd like you not to do an accent. And I thought, okay, I can still, make a person out of this, this mother. But the writer of the episode called and said, do you think you could do an accent? And I thought, can I? I mean, I played a Filipina mom several times at the Asian American Theater Company, and I was the voice of Philippine Airlines for 6 years. I could do
Wow.
yes. So I was like, yes, I can do it. And so happy. And that episode where I'm doing the singing, all the extras were Filipino, and of course, the people who are playing my daughter and Vincent Rodriguez is Filipino. So they have mothers that have the accent. So I also had people around me who could correct me if I was wrong with anything. It was wonderful. It was like the best job ever.
Do you know why Do you know why the last name is Chan? That's actually a Chinese last name. Is it because they're Chinese from the Philippines, or is that why?
Yeah. So there's a lot of Chinese Filipinos in
Oh.
the Chinese. They went everywhere.
Oh, so Josh Chan is a Chinese Filipino, basically.
Yes.
Oh, I understand now. Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So, and
From Peru or Brazil, like Jorge Tanaka. They have like a Japanese name, but their first name, and then they speak with the Brazilian accent.
yeah,
It blows your mind whenever you see.
yeah, I have a friend that actually speaks fluent Spanish from Ecuador. That's Chinese.
Exactly. Asians are everywhere.
You have another project that you're working on, Comedy InvAsian.
Yes.
And I actually went to your performance.
Yes.
It was hilarious. Tell us more about that project.
Well, that project, Quentin Lee called and said he wanted to do a series of 1-hour specials, but I heard a 1-hour special with 6 stand-ups. So I thought I would be doing 10 minutes or something of an hour.
Oh.
So I thought that was hard. 10 minutes. So then we were sort of like, talking about it in more detail. And he said, no, Amy, no, you're doing an hour. And I said, you don't understand what stand-up is. So, but then I thought I should take a chance. And so I did. And I rehearsed like a show.
Also, I saw that you just got casted for a pilot, an ABC pilot with Rob Riggle's Single
Yes.
Dad Comedy. I know that it's kind of new, so you can't shed too many new details, but tell us a little bit about what you can tell us.
Well, it's a pilot that is written or created by somebody who had this experience. It was based on her childhood. And Rob Riggle plays a writer who moves to Queens with his two daughters. He's newly single and he has to learn how to be a mom as well as a dad to these two girls. And it's funny and touching and sweet. And I just play one of the neighbors. And it's really diverse. And of course, I am Mrs. Kim, so it feels like full circle. Mrs. Kim in the 90s, 95, and Mrs. Kim again in 2017. And it's my character is wonderful. She has a lot of advice for him that's, pretty old school. And I don't know, it's just a really sweet, wonderful show, and I hope it gets picked up.
Yeah, and it is especially full circle because you're also playing Mrs. Kim on an
Yeah,
ABC show.
that's right.
Tell us about any other new projects that's coming up for you.
On Amazon Prime, I'm doing a show called Just Add Magic. We're going into our fourth season. And that one I play a witch, Mama P. And it's a huge hit on Amazon Prime for not just kids. It's a kind of a tween show. But, my plate is full. I'm very lucky because there's so many platforms now. But I'm also a single mom of a 16-year-old, so I'm trying to balance my work life and my personal life as much as I can.
Well, we are so excited for you, Amy. We are going to be looking out for your projects. We thank you so much for joining us today for Amy Lieu Presents.
Yay!
We enjoyed having you so much.
Good luck on everything you're doing, too.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks so much, everybody, for watching Amy Lieu Presents. Check me out at YouTube and iTunes. Please subscribe if you like what you see. And also, I'm at www.amylieu.com for my website, and also at Amy Lieu Media for my social media. Follow me for the latest updates. Thanks so much, and have a great day.